Multiple outlets reporting at this hour the Padres and Yankees are close on a deal for Juan Soto. This is an emergency edition of the wrap-up show on a Wednesday morning from sunny San Diego. John and Jim with you. We'll be with you who knows for how long. We might skip John and Jim. We could just be here for the next 24 hours. We're with you here on the wrap-up show. Juan Soto is on the verge of being moved. This is something we've discussed now for weeks. Remember, the Yankees played a bit of hardball. Oh, we're not going to move a Michael King for 1 year of Juan Soto. They are going to move Michael King for 1 year of Juan Soto, potentially. Jim might have to get a Michael King bobblehead.
I got my Juan Soto bobblehead already. Like, that's
I know you do.
A collector's item.
You might have to repaint it. All right, so John and Jim with you on the wrap-up show. Please, as you make your way in, I just noticed, Jim, we're approaching 5,500 subscribers on the wrap-up show. If you wouldn't mind subscribing if you're here, we've got year-round baseball content for you. Obviously, if you're a Padres fan, please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you want to support the channel, please consider a super chat by clicking the $sign below the chat box. We get to every single super chat over the course of a live wrap-up show. If you want to become a member, you can click join, get custom emojis and badges. It's beginning to set in, Jim. The Padres on the verge of trading Juan Soto, something that was seen as unimaginable when they made this trade in July of 2022. Just over a year later, Juan Soto to the Yankees is likely and close, and we'll see what kind of return the Padres get here potentially today.
First off, I apologize. I literally can't speak. My voice.
You
is
sound
gone.
like you're going to die, which is great.
I have my voice is completely gone.
What were you doing last night?
I wasn't doing anything. It was just I got this, like, I don't know. It's not great. So
I can't wait to do 5 hours of shows with you today. This and then John and Jim. It's gonna be great.
I know it's gonna be awesome. I put out on Twitter. I was like, yeah, this trading Juan Soto is stupid. Not that the necessary idea of why they're trading Juan Soto is stupid, just the actuality of, like, you just traded Juan Soto. It sucks. It's stupid. No one likes it. If you like this trade, I don't know what to tell you, because whenever it goes down, whenever it's finalized, you just traded away Juan Soto. I mean, Michael King, Drew Thorpe, whoever the hell else is in this deal.
Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, potentially.
Oh, yeah, those guys really help. Those guys really move the needle.
No, they're not going to move the needle. I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you. Trading Juan Soto, I completely agree. But I'll reserve judgment until I see what the return is and how these pitchers can impact the Padres and what they do with the money, by the way, that they free up.
Yeah, because, Jake Cronenworth is also another name that is out there. Dennis Lynn reported that this morning, that they're trying to move. Here's where it gets, like, you're teetering on, a riot from the fan base. Because if you start freeing up a bunch of money, which is not a bad thing, like, I think realizing that the Jake Cronenworth contract is a mistake and trading him it would be a good thing. But if you pocket that money and you don't allocate that money elsewhere to help this team out,
oh, they're not going to pocket it, right? I mean, I'm talking about once they get to 200, they're not going to go to 175, right?
I don't know. I mean, look, we're going to have to see how things play out. I understand that.
But that's a teardown.
But I'm just telling you, if you see them trade Juan Soto and Jake Cronenworth and they get rid of Trent Grisham and my voice, which is, I apologize.
Dude, I might have Fadden fill in for you.
No, you're not.
Juan Soto's going to be traded. You're going to be sitting at home.
Yeah, no, not happening. And you don't allocate that money elsewhere, or at least part of that money elsewhere, and go sign free agents, then what the fuck are you doing? You're basically tearing this thing down to save money, which is not what fans want to see.
Before we start, go get tea. Do you have hot water? I'm serious.
I have water.
No, go get hot water. Do you have? I'm serious, man. I can have hot water, some lemon, some honey.
I don't have that right now.
Do you have Bentley?
I have Bentley. What do you want me? Bentley, go to the store.
Bentley would be enjoyable to hear from.
I'll just make sure my voice is, like, super low. Is that better?
No, that's not better. Okay, the latest is this, because hopefully Jim's voice improves over the next 30 seconds. I think it will. The latest is this, that you've heard from John Morosi, you've heard from John Heyman, Kevin Acee has written about this today in the UT, hopefully joins us, by the way, today on John and Jim, that this thing is close to happening. Now, remember, a deal of this magnitude doesn't necessarily just get finalized with a tweet, just like, hey, they want to agree in principle to a deal. I mean, there's a lot that goes into a deal like this. You could be talking about 4, 5, 6 players back, and you could be talking about more than just Juan Soto moving. They've obviously been working on this since late last night. Remember, the Yankees traded with the Red Sox yesterday, something that's very rare. Trading for Alex Verdugo. It does not appear as if Verdugo is part of a long-term plan to move again or flip for Juan Soto. But ever since they moved for Verdugo, it sounds like they've really, ratcheted up their trade proposal here for Juan Soto. We heard, Jim, as recently as yesterday that the Yankees are going to draw a line and they're not going to go past it, and they're not going to include Michael King, and they're not going to include Drew Thorpe. Well, that's changed now. Bentley literally heard me. That's changed now. Their offer apparently has changed and will include potentially Michael King and or Drew Thorpe, a couple of pitching prospects. You know, King had a lot of success last year in the big leagues with the Yankees. Drew Thorpe is a former second-round pick last year out of Cal Poly that has a lot of high upside per the reports. So we'll see. Jim is working on his dog, I think, right now, not necessarily getting tea. All right, if you're here, subscribe. Year-round content. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate your support of the channel with the super chats. You can click the $sign below the chat box. Brian has the first super of the day. Thank you, Brian. Really do appreciate it. All right, let me read this, Jim. He says the blind faith Padre fans are both admirable and insufferable. I, for one, have a hard time believing that this year will be any different than the last 9 seasons in the Preller era. Hope I'm wrong. What's your reaction to that?
I agree with him as far as the Preller situation goes. Like, you don't have faith in AJ Preller to build a cohesive roster. So you're asking him to trade away Juan Soto and other pieces to try to build a cohesive roster. Good luck.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. And also, is he building a cohesive roster for 2024 with the parts he's receiving, or is he trying to build a cohesive roster because he's freeing up capital? And now I would imagine some of these players start the year on the big league team, right? Like Michael King's he's in your rotation. If you trade
he's
for
your
him.
third starter. He's your number 3 starter.
Yeah. Drew Thorpe is going to be in the minor leagues because he was pitching in Double-A last year. Randy Vasquez last year pitched a bit with the Yankees. I think had a couple of appearances. Johnny Brito last year made appearances in the American League with the Yankees, had a 4.28. So you got some pieces that would probably start the year on the big league roster, obviously, for the Padres. But the big question becomes then, what do they do with the money? If you free up $33 million on Soto, 4, 5, 6 on Grisham, potentially more than that on Cronenworth. And again, Dennis Lin reporting today. I don't know if Cronenworth is part of a Soto deal, but that Cronenworth is in trade conversations. So they're clearly trying to move money to then hopefully improve the roster with the freed up money, is my speculation, but who knows?
When it boils down to it, you just trade away your best player.
There's no question about that. You can't argue that based on what we saw last year.
You just traded away your best player. So whoever you got back better be fucking worth it. And they better perform. Okay. Michael King, you can tell me all you want. They need pitching. They need pitching. Cool. They got pitching. Are those guys going to perform? And if they don't, disaster. Like, there's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me this is a good deal at all. From first glance, you just trade away your best player.
But can you say it's a bad deal just because you're trading him? And I'm asking the question like legitimately: is it automatically a bad deal by moving him?
At this moment in time, today, yes. But next year, if Michael King turns into like a guy that wins 15 games,
yeah. How about he's Seth Lugo? He replicates that year.
He replicates Seth Lugo's year. Mm-hmm. It still doesn't do it for me.
No, I agree. But let's say, and then, Drew Thorpe is a future rotation piece beginning of 2025, and Brito or Vasquez are eating innings for you in some capacity. Still, I'm with you.
No.
I mean,
no,
I think you could, I think it can ultimately make you better in the long term. They just have to have a vision and execute on it. And AJ Preller hasn't been great in that area.
He's been awful in that area.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's what I meant. But not great.
Like, I mean, thinking about it today, I don't know how anybody could be excited about this deal unless you're like a Preller blowhard.
Or you're like a big like, hey man, they got their payroll down. But does anyone really care about that? That's like the guy that gets all excited, like, hey, Rutgers made 80 million in TV revenue. You're really excited? You lost to Michigan by 60 points, but you have a lot of TV revenue. You're happy?
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of this in the chat and a lot on social media. Like, oh, Jim, what do you want? You want Matt Waldron and Pedro Avila to start next year for the Padres? Like, no, I don't want them to start.
Well, that's the thing. They're in a rock and a hard spot situation.
Like, what I do want is I want Juan Soto. And I wanted AJ Preller to not fuck this up. But on initial first glance, today, December 6th, 2023, trading Juan Soto is stupid. And it sucks.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. And I agree with you. And I think Juan Soto was their best player as well. And I think he has the potential to be their best player in 2024 if he stayed. Can you win with Juan Soto in 2024, considering what they're up against? Like, they did not win in 2023 with a much better roster, with a higher payroll. And they did not win. Maybe it was a product of circumstance, luck, right? Extra inning games, whatever was going on with the clubhouse dynamic with Melvin, Preller, etc. But if you didn't win in 2023, are you going to win in 2024 without Hader, without Snell, without Lugo, without Waka, without Martinez? Are you going to win in 2024? I think it's a legitimate question. I don't think it's going to be easy to win in 2024 if you hold on to him. I love the idea of keeping him and trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, it's like, Jim, if you can't afford $3,000 in rent, you got to move to a place that's $2,000 in rent. Like, if you cannot afford it, you cannot afford it. Like, if that's just
I get it.
Factual,
Trust me, I get it. I understand.
And you just moved. Your place looks nice.
Yeah, it's great. But I moved to a place that would cost more money.
That's because you're about to get married.
From a place that I was like saving a bunch of money.
I know. So now you know what it's like to be the Padres. In 6 months, you might be like, yo, hon, can we afford this place?
But here's the difference. I can afford it. So that's the difference.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron.
I know.
Sugar mama.
But I'm just saying that.
No, I get it. Look,
walk me through. No, let's just walk through it for 1 second. They keep Soto. They keep Soto. What could they do? Could they move Grisham? Could they move Cronenworth? Could they do something with Carpenter? Like, what could they do? Could they turn to their, Kevin wrote about this yesterday. Can they turn to their system for starting pitching this year? It doesn't sound likely from the quotes coming from the Padres organization, including Preller. Like, what would they do if they didn't trade Juan Soto?
If they didn't trade Juan Soto, they would have to move Cronenworth. They'd have to move Grisham. They'd have to get off of Carpenter. They'd have to
consider Kim, maybe.
Consider Kim, but that's only $7 million. It's not like a big thing.
I think it might be 8, but I've been saying 7. I think it's 4 for 32. I think it's 8, but fair point.
7 or 8, right?
Yep.
Trimming the fat.
Yep. Although some of that's not really the fat.
And then just, hoping that see, here's the thing. After this deal, they're not even close to done with building their roster out.
No, but it gives them then the ability to do it. And that's why we've been advocating for them sooner rather than later.
Like, you have any faith, or I have any faith in AJ Preller to do that properly?
Well, did you? I mean, Lugo, Waka, Martinez, I mean, closers over the years, it's not like he has no ability to do it. He may
Let me ask you this. Would you rather have a rotation of Darvish, Musgrove, King, Avila,
and a free, and go get me a free agent mid-tier,
a free agent on a 1-year deal for $8 million.
No, more if they move Soto,
a middling free agent.
Okay,
all right, or a rotation of Darvish, Musgrove, Avila, Waldron, and whoever else, and you have Juan Soto on your team.
You have no chance of winning if your actual rotation is Avila, Waldron, and someone else, and none of.
Do you have a chance of winning if you're? But do you have a better chance of winning if your rotation is Darvish, Musgrove, and King?
Well, if you told me it was, because they're about to free up 30
better chance.
No, but they're going to free up $33 million. So if they spend it accurately, like they got Lugo and Waka, and that helped their rotation. That wasn't just like holdover, they were okay. That actually improved the rotation. If you make the right signing, and I don't know who that is, we could discuss mid-tier starters. I don't know if it's whomever. I'm not saying Lucas Giolito. He was awful at the end of last year, but you get the point. Someone that's capable of having a sub-4 ERA and throwing 150 innings and making 29 starts, I think that's reasonable. So, I don't see how you win, and I think they recognize this. Even if they kept Soto, I don't see how you win with all internal. Waldron, Avila, whomever else. You have to go outside to address some of this rotation, regardless of what you do with Juan Soto. I don't think you have any shot of winning if you just have Darvish, Musgrove, and nothing else. I mean, not nothing, but you get my point.
Yeah, but my point is, are you a better team with Juan Soto on it, or are you a better team with just an addition to your major league pitching rotation of Michael King?
But it would be much more than that because there's $33 million we're not accounting for.
Okay. Then you're right. I will have to wait to see the final product. The problem is we'll never know what the final product would have been if Juan Soto was on this team.
I agree with
so
that.
It's hard to say they would have not been as good. You know what I mean? We don't know that. And if Juan Soto was still on this team, it's not official yet, but it's pretty close, right? It's going to be official. They're probably just crossing their I's or crossing their T's, dotting their I's. But we'll never know if this team would have been good enough with Juan Soto on it. We're going to find out how this team looks with no Juan Soto on it. And we're going to find out how they use this money or whatever they're saving here to build out the rest of their roster. If they go out and give me a pitcher right now in the market that's not Blake Snell, that's a middle to almost top rotation guy. I don't know if I can find anybody.
You're right. The major league, you're right. A lot of the pitchers that are free agents right now might not be those guys. There are some pitchers, whether it's Korea or Japan, that would get consideration that is not Yamamoto, by the way, that would be below that level. But I agree with you. It's either top heavy with someone like Snell, Ohtani's prospect moving forward, obviously, or it's mid-tier guys or low-tier guys. They're probably looking mid to low-tier anyway in that conversation. Okay. What do you got?
I was just going to say real quick before we get some Mark Nimitz. If you told me, here's the trade-off. You can keep Blake Snell, but you have to trade Juan Soto. Then you're like, okay, dude, I get it. You're keeping the pitching, Cy Young Award winner. But it's like, guy trade Soto for pitching. Who's your pitcher? Michael King and Drew Thorpe. Michael King could be great.
That's your return. That's your return, but that's not your money. You know what I mean? That's where it's not. And by the way, Preller will speak within hours of this trade being official, so you'll hear from him on his plan. We can believe it or not, and that's fine. But your return is not what your rotation is going to be in 2024. The return is one thing, and then what you do with the capital is another. The capital being
we also know Michael King will be in this rotation next year.
Yeah, which is fine. He had a nice year, and he threw over 100 innings for him, and he finished on a very high note. So I think that's probably a good thing. I mean, he's not a pup, and he's got a couple of years of control, and he'll be in your rotation presumably.
And I hope it works. I hope it works.
Let's get to some of these supers, guys. If you're here, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 5,500 subscribers today. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, we appreciate that. We are here for you in season and out of season. Padres and Yankees getting close to a Juan Soto deal. If you want to contribute with the super chat, if you want to become a member, we appreciate your support. Click the $ below the chat box. As you know, we get to every single super chat, including this one from our longtime member and supporter, Jared. Thank you, Jared. Good to have you here. He says, I'm hoping after this, Preller goes and signs Jung-Hoo Lee. That's the Korean center field prospect, rumored to be in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 a year for 4 or 5 years. Yamamoto, that's big-time money. They're not even rumored right now to be in on those conversations. And then there is it Shota Imanaga? I think it's Shota Imanaga. He is 30 years of age. You may recall last year, Jim, as I know you watched a lot of Yokohama baseball last year.
A lot.
That he threw 148 innings for Yokohama last season, had a 2.8, 174 strikeouts, 24 walks in 148 innings for the 30-year-old left-hander, Shota Imanaga. Do you like Shota Imanaga and the way he was pitching at the end of last year?
Yes, in that cutter. Great. I
thought the cutter to lefty was really unhittable at times.
It really was. Fucking no. But
how will he use the money is the point. Jared's point is how will he use the money?
Yep. And that's kind of like my take today is on initial first glance, this sucks. It's stupid. I hate it. but you got to make sure that you use this money and you spend it wisely and that it works out. So really, the final, I guess, verdict and thought on this whole thing is not even going to be determined until next year, because we got to see what the money that they have saved to use on and how Michael King will perform, and obviously the prospects as well, but down the road. But it's just at this moment in time, initial glance, it sucks. I hate it. It's stupid. And how are you going to use the money? That's the biggest question.
John, thank you for the super chat. He says, well, I still want Preller fired. He has a lot more money after this Soto deal. He's going to be in every starting pitcher conversation. I don't know about every. I don't think he'll be in on Yamamoto. I don't think he'll be in on Blake Snell. I don't think he'll be in on Shohei Ohtani. Like, I'm seeing that a little bit here today as well. Oh, if they free up this money, are they going to turn around and be in on Ohtani? No, that's why they're freeing up the money. Because why would you free up money to go spend more money? If you pay off your credit card you had 20K in debt, you pay it off, and now you put 30K on it, have you really done anything? Now, of course, Ohtani is a great player, just like Soto is a great player. But you're telling me you're unwilling to commit $30 million in 1 year to Juan Soto, so you're going to commit $525 million to Shohei Ohtani for the next 11 years?
No.
That doesn't make it. And he's supposed to make a decision by Sunday. He doesn't even know. How does he know what's going to happen with this Juan Soto trade? And he's already met with teams.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. I thought the Shohei Ohtani deal would have to happen first before Juan Soto. Remember that? I was like,
yeah, apparently maybe not. Yeah, but they might happen like bang, bang, because MLB trade rumors today saying that Ohtani is expecting to make a decision by Sunday. Well, we're not far off. This Soto thing has played out either at lightning speed or the slowest speed ever, if you followed this story. Because, I mean, Yankees reporters like Andy Martino have been in on this since right away in the offseason, like October 1st. Then it was renewed like 2 weeks ago. And then it was, talks have cooled. We didn't buy that. I never bought that for 1 second. And now talks have intensified. And of course, it's going to be the Yankees that are willing to give more to eventually get the deal done. And that's what it sounds like. Now, I would say this. If King's in the deal, if Thorpe's in the deal, okay, it sounds like that's what the Padres were hoping for. Jim, if you look at the Yankees' top 10 prospects right now, I'm just at MLB.com. Baseball America maybe has a bit of a different list, but the top 10 prospects in the Yankees organization, if the Padres made this reported deal for King, Thorpe, Vasquez, and Brito, okay? You know how many top 10 prospects that would include? 1. And that would be Drew Thorpe, who is their 5th highest ranked prospect. They're 5th. That's all you're getting. You're not getting Dominguez or Jones, who again maybe aren't needs for the Padres as outfielders. You're not getting Everson Pereira, outfielder. You're not getting Chase Hampton, right-handed pitcher. You're getting one of the top 10 prospects in the organization. Not 2, 1. So you could argue that's a win potentially for the New York Yankees.
Potentially. You just got Juan fucking Soto.
Yeah, well, that's what we said a year ago when the Padres got Juan Soto.
If you're a Yankees fan, and I said this, and if there's any Yankees fan out there after this deal gets completed that is complaining about giving up Drew Thorpe and Michael King, shut the fuck up.
They won't complain though once the deal's done.
I hope not.
They'll think they're going to win the World Series, you know?
Oh, of course. And Juan Soto's going to fucking, I think Danny Vietti put it out today, like Juan Soto. And I don't know if he meant just like home, like just Yankee Stadium. But if you take all of Juan Soto's 35 home runs this year and all of his like splits at home, right? He would have hit next year. If the same thing happens, he will hit 27 home runs just at Yankee Stadium alone.
Dude, you know how many times he flew out or flied out, whatever the technical term is, to the warning track last year at Petco, including with the bases loaded? Remember in that doubleheader game?
Oh my God.
Dude, I mean, it happened
10
a lot.
times.
So I mean, his OPS goes up 100 points at Yankee Stadium. I'm telling you right now, he'll fall to bed with a 1,000 OPS. And in that division, Camden Yards, Toronto, Boston, he'll hit 40 home runs. He'll have a 1,000 OPS. By the way, John Heyman, within the last 42 seconds, things are already percolating, Jim, percolating. With Korean center fielder Jung-Hoo Lee, Padres are a possible landing spot, especially if they complete Soto trade to the Yankees as expected. There are others, as in other suitors. I like the idea of Jung-Hoo Lee. Now, I'm not just saying because of Ha-Seong Kim, but here's the reason I like it. 25 years of age, you get him for 4 or 5 years, even if it takes him a year to develop. We saw that with Kim. It took him a year to develop, and the other side was really good. Again, I don't know if you're trying to win a World Series in 2024 or not. So I got to be thinking about 2024 and beyond. And it's a reasonable price. If I can get Lee for 10 a year, 11 a year for 4 or 5 years and sure up center field, I know this is better than Trent Grisham.
You're better than
I'm a
Trent
fan.
Grisham.
Yeah, well, I can't bunt.
Yeah.
Although either can he, to be honest.
That's true. He does not know how to bunt. Well, he actually does. No, I take that back. He says he bunted pretty well.
He bunted with the bases loaded in like 2 outs.
Yeah, and I wanted him DFA'd the next day.
Jared, thank you. If you're here, please subscribe, guys. Thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. He says, I don't like trading Juan Soto, but if Preller is able to do something with the money and the players we get back do well, it could be a good thing. Could in all caps. Yes, it could. Because we don't know. It's sport. We don't know how this turns out. We don't know what the future holds. But I think that's the glass half full way of looking at it. Jim's more in the maybe glass half empty. And by the way, I am too.
Look, and I said this the other day on the wrap-up show. They can still win next year without Juan Soto. They can still do it, all right, if certain things happen. And those things would be players that had down years last year all performing. Soto's, Bogarts, Darvish, Musgrove. Like, you do that, you have a good shot. But you're basing it on hope. Like, I hope these guys have bounce back years. I hope Tatis reverts to 2021 offense Tatis, right? You'll hope.
That's not as much of a, I mean, at least we've seen it with Tatis. I mean, we did see 2021. We did see his outfield play last year. Like, I'm not as hopeful. And like Tatis and Machado, they just got to perform, right? Like, we've seen it before.
I hope they perform.
Yeah, but that's everyone. That's like saying, I hope Juan Soto has, if you're a Yankee fan, you hope he performs in 2024, right?
Well, yeah, but like, you got to make sure that those guys bounce back and have bounce back years. The thing is, are they like a better lineup with Juan Soto out of it? No, they're not.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's get to this from Miguel. Thank you, Miguel. Guys, appreciate you hanging out. We're going to tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz, in a moment. We wouldn't be able to do this as often as we do it without the support of you guys here, live or on replay, and also without the support of our partners. Miguel says, Jim, in 23, they had Soto, along with prime starting pitching staff and best closer in the National League, and won nothing, Jim, in all caps. Not even the third wild card spot. True, but in 2022, they went to the National League Championship Series and had Juan Soto.
Yeah, with all those players.
Right. Just a bad year. Nobody can explain it. They ask everyone. Melvin, Schilt, they're all like, remember, who was it? Nelson Cruz, like, hey, Crony, what happened? Why do we suck?
I don't know.
Nobody can explain it. It's like a black hole. Does anyone really understand a black hole? Maybe Jim does. He talks about it every day.
Black holes, they're like nothingness.
Exactly. Which is basically the Padres 2023 season. But it's a fair point, Miguel. It's like, yeah, okay, you didn't win with a better roster in 2023. Are you going to win with a worse roster in 2024 if you keep Soto? That's the argument. This is chicken egg stuff. We don't know. We'll never be able to run. We'll never be able to run the numbers on 2024 with Soto and without Soto. I mean, no, it's fake. That's fake. Fangraphs can do it, but it's not real. Fangraphs told us last year the Padres are going to win 95 games. They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It comes down to you are trading a 6-WAR player away today, like, or tomorrow, or whatever. Hopefully it's today. Get this fucking thing over with.
Mm-hmm.
You're trading away a 6-WAR player, a guy that easily could win an MVP next season, who is clutch in the postseason, has had World Series moments, has had definite multiple postseason moments, one of the most feared hitters at the plate. Like, who do you want to face in the postseason? Do you want to face Juan Soto? Probably not. If you're an opposing pitcher in a big time moment, you're trading away that player today. That's the point. Like, I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know if the team's going to be better. I don't know if they're going to be worse. I mean, hypothetically, they would be worse because the lineup's not as good with Juan Soto. But like, the point today is you're trading away a 6-WAR player with a year left on his deal and a contract year. And you, when I say you, I mean AJ Preller, proclaimed that when you traded for him, you got him for 3 postseason runs. And you got him for 1.
Yeah, not ideal.
No.
But it's not, but it's also, and I agree, but it's also not like a Kansas City type situation where it's like, it's not like you never bring in the type of player that they're about to trade out. They've signed Machado. They've extended Tatis. They have signed Bogarts. They have brought in Snells and Musgroves and Darvish. It's not like every time it's a one-way street and they're trading out talent like this. Now, this is extreme, and this is a reverse in terms of the methodology since like 2020 under Peter Seidler. But if this was Kansas City and you only had Soto and you were moving Soto, you'd be like, this is a complete indictment on the franchise. What an embarrassment. We can never win. For me, this is more like an admission that we overspent, we miscalculated, and we need to get our house back in order, but we're not going to break the entire house down. Like kind of your point over the last week. Like I thought if you told me right now you move Bogarts and Soto, I'm telling you the perception nationally is tear down. Mm-hmm. I think Padres fans would say, hey, we did a nice job getting rid of underneath that bad Bogarts deal. So now we have a chance actually to have some success on the other side of it. But if you move two of these players, this to me is tear down city. Moving one of them is just a recognition that they screwed up and nobody's going to bail them out. Peter's not here anymore. And you got to pay up. You got debt service calling, and you got $50 million in loans, and you got to get your house in order to continue down the path that they've been on the last handful of years.
Yeah, they screwed up because one, the money didn't line up for you to be able to keep Juan Soto. Two, they screwed up because they have no pitching. And I know that the necessary evil here is like having to trade Juan Soto, but at the same time, I am not going to celebrate that. I'm just not. Like, I'm not going to say, I'm glad they traded away Juan Soto, one of the best players in the game, probably future Hall of Famer, so they can get a couple more pitchers on this team.
But who is okay? But who is celebrating? Other than there's always a fringe of every fan base that, you know, you can find anything on social media. Is there a lot of celebrating today that we're seeing from Padres fans? I think there are some people saying, hey, I'm glad they got rid of him, but I'm not seeing a lot of celebrating. I think people are curious what the return will be and curious what they can do with the money.
And that's what I am too. But I'm just telling you, we're talking about trading away Juan Soto. And if you are happy about it today, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, we're going to get back to the chat in a moment. Told you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz. He's a big reason why we got this channel off the ground over 2 years ago. We've been doing the wrap-up show on radio or on YouTube for over 4 years now. We thank Mark Nimitz for his support of the channel. If you have any insurance need, and if you're in Southern California, you have to contact Mark by clicking the link in the description down below. I've got what else do I have? Homeowners insurance. I've got earthquake insurance. I have life insurance through Mark. I'm about to have auto insurance through Mark. Just by switching your insurance, you could save $750 or more. Mark is a lifelong Padres fan, a native San Diegan, a great insurance agent. When I had to file a claim in 2022, he took care of everything and saved us thousands of dollars. You're looking at his website on the screen right now. You can get free quotes online. You can get free quotes by calling Mark. He'll talk to you about Juan Soto. He'll talk to you about the Padres, and he will save you money on your insurance. Before you renew, before you find a new insurance agent, contact Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance by clicking the link in the description down below.
Yeah, all his information's above my head, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
I thank you, Mark. Thank you guys for hanging out. Subscribe if you are here. Would love to get to 5,500 subscribers here today, but that's contingent on you guys subscribing. So thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you for the super chats as well. Click the $ below the chat box. We do appreciate your support. We get to every single super chat here. Padres on the verge of moving Juan Soto, according to reports today. Richard, thank you. He says, this was a move that had to happen. All Dodger fans have ever heard is how great of an evaluator AJ is. If you can't build a competitive team around Tatis and Manny, then AJ needs to change careers. Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is. But I agree with that. If you can't build a winner with Tatis and Manny and Joe and Darvish, Bogarts, and Hassan Kim on your roster,
then get someone that can.
Then yeah, you're fired. Like I agree with that 100%. You know. I've said it. Just because they're not going to have Juan Soto on the team next year doesn't mean they can't win. Okay, I just would have preferred to have Juan Soto on this team because I think that there's a better chance for them if they have him. But there's no me thinking like if when they trade Juan Soto today, that there's no chance that they're going to not win next year. You know, they have too much, and they have players that, when performing, like if Bogarts and Manny and Tatis and Kim, if those guys are all hitting, like, come on, you got to be, you would think that you're good.
I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. But for whatever reason, they weren't winning in 20. They just were so underperforming and so
I'll never know how to
underwhelming.
explain it. I'll never know how to explain it.
So unclutch.
Other than
They were just bad.
Other than you had seemingly every star player have down year last year. Besides like Blake Snell.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
No doubt.
And even for Juan Soto's year, I would consider it a slight down year for him because I know he could do better.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but it wasn't as impactful as you would have hoped.
And Ha-Seong Kim had a great year too, for sure.
He did.
Like the best year in the big leagues, but you can't have everything revolve around.
They had a good run differential.
Yeah, the run differential.
They almost maybe they'll put up a banner for the run differential. I think it was top 5 in the NL. Maybe a top 5 run differential banner could go up before the start of the season, March 28th.
Nice.
Be really cool against the Giants. Hey, here's Blake Snell getting a Cy Young as a Giant, but we had a really good run differential last year. Well, we're waiting here on this to become potentially official. What's that?
The second we get off here, you know, it's gonna be a official.
Of course. I mean, what are we? I'm just waiting for. I mean, we're all waiting on Jeff Passan because that's really the only person that counts in this conversation. Because everyone else has gotten something wrong at one point or another. Jeff Passan basically is 10 for 10 in this, so I feel like that's what we're waiting on. And again, it's probably a complex deal. To be fair, does it have to get done this morning? I have no idea. It sounds like they were working on it last night, but like the winter meetings have been, I mean, very slow, to put it lightly, and this would maybe change that conversation if Juan Soto moves to the Yankees. Like that changes everything, especially getting New York involved. I mean, this will be a big day in baseball if Juan Soto's move. Not as much of a big day for Padres fans, but a huge day in baseball because of the Yankees. I mean, you involve the Yankees in a trade for Juan Soto, and that's a massive day for the sport. Unfortunately, it's at the expense potentially of the Padres, and we've been on the other side of that coin for years now. Padres have been winning. Padres have been winning trades. They've been getting major league talent. They've been getting stars, and it kind of sucks to be on the other side of that. It does. I agree with that. I recognize that, but what's necessary is necessary, and seemingly this is necessary.
Yeah, sometimes the things that are necessary suck the most.
Yeah, like the dentist.
Yeah, like you got to go to the dentist.
I'm going Friday.
Sucks.
I hate it.
Now, the payoff is like your teeth are better.
Yeah, you keep teeth, and you can like eat an apple.
Teeth. The payoff here is you don't get to watch Juan Soto on your favorite team anymore.
Yeah, remember that first day we were there when he ran out to right field? Who was it against? Incredible. Maybe the Reds?
Against the Reds.
And who hit a grand slam?
Brandon Drury.
Right. And Soto walked. It was an incredible walk. It was beautiful. He took 4 pitches out of the zone, then he walked. Yeah. Luis, thank you. Didn't get to say thank you to Luis for becoming a member. Appreciate it. If you guys want to become a member, you get emojis and badges and more. Click the join button down below. If you want to contribute with a super chat, click the $sign down below. If you want to become a subscriber, well, just hit subscribe. I think that's what it says. Hit subscribe, pushing towards 5,500 subscribers here.
Was it the Rockies? Was this versus the Rockies or the Reds?
I thought it was the Rockies. No, it might have been the Rockies. Because Drury was just traded from the Reds, so they didn't play the Reds.
Maybe it was the Rockies.
They scored like 5 runs before an out was recorded or something. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome.
Since then, not as great. NLCS was cool. It was the Rockies.
The Rockies.
Vector 53, thank you. He says, just a bitter pill to swallow. Tough day indeed. Yeah, I mean, the recognition, when it sets in, like you're moving Juan Soto, which is great for the New York Yankees, but not so much for the San Diego Padres. It's like it goes back to what the Padres kind of were, and you hope they weren't becoming. Like you thought they had flipped the script on the narrative. They went from small market to big market, which is amazing. How many teams are able to do that? But then you trade Juan Soto, and you're like, well, hold on. Are we back to being small market, or what are we moving forward?
Right. Like mid-market? I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Brett makes a good point here in the chat. And you don't really even think about it. Like, you have now just lost not only your best hitter, but that much needed left-handed bat they need in a lineup.
No doubt. They need left-handed hitting. There's no question about it.
So who's that lefty in the lineup right now to break up the order, make things difficult?
But it's December 6th.
Give me a lefty.
You're not playing
right
tonight. You're not. They don't have to have a lineup.
Yeah, but no left-handed hitter they get is going to be better than Juan Soto.
Jung-Hoo Lee.
Okay.
The Korean Soto.
Yeah, better.
I mean, I'm just saying that it's not like they're fielding a team on December 6th. I'm sure they'll address left-handed. They're not going to be like, oh, man, we need a lefty.
No, I get that, John. I'm just telling you today you've lost your best left-handed hitter, and now you need to go out and not only get a left-handed bat, but you also need to get more pitching. You need to get first baseman. You need to get another catcher. Like,
they got time.
Once they trade Soto, I better see, like, in the next month, you better be making a bunch of moves because you can't sit on your ass.
Well, that's the last thing we've ever said about AJ Preller.
I'm just saying he's got to make a bunch of moves.
But you're acting like they're going to field a team. They're. I mean,
John, my last. That's not what I'm saying, dude. I'm just telling you, going forward.
No shit.
But who knows if they're going to use all this money and go spend it?
But who knows that they're not? So why are you freaking out on December 6th?
Because I'm telling you that they better do it.
Okay. And what if they do? Are you going to come on and be like, thank you? I mean, yeah, okay. Nobody's saying
yeah, I will, actually.
You argued this week that it's not a teardown. So you're telling me that you're concerned that it's a teardown.
I'm concerned that they're not going to take this money whenever they say it.
That's a teardown, dude.
Okay. Fine.
You can't go from 250 to 150.
They're not going to 150.
Yet if you free up 40 and you're not at 200 now, you're at 150. They're not at 200 right now. With Soto, they're committed to like what, 189 or something?
I don't know. There's a bunch of numbers out there, and they're all different.
Miss Doodle, thank you. Miss Doodle says, thank you for these shows. Soto may about to be gone, but we have John and Jim who want to kill each other. And the wrap-up show. Make sure to also subscribe to their radio YouTube channel. Yes, John and Jim, for more of us ripping our heads off. They have a radio show in San Diego for those that don't know. Thank you, Miss Doodle.
Hey,
search
Corey,
for John and Jim 760.
Shit, buddy.
Why? What happened? What did he say about you?
Just talking about like Aaron or whatever.
Oh, come on, Corey, you loser. So yes, find us on YouTube, search for John and Jim 760 because we do this every day from 3 to 6 p.m. as well. So we basically spend like 5 hours a day doing this.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of time. So thank you, Miss Do It All, for the very generous super chat. Really do appreciate that.
Thank you, Miss Do It All.
Yes, it's very kind. Crazy Raider Red, thank you for your membership. And for the super, he says, where's the run differential t-shirts? Working on them.
Run differential t-shirts. No.
We sound like an adorable married couple. Kind of.
No, we're not.
Jim hasn't even talked to Aaron about the Niners-Eagles game. And she's an Eagles fan. And he's a Niners fan. Alex doesn't like seeing us fight.
Not fighting.
I'm close to, I wonder, will I ban Gus by the end of the show? It's possible. I've already put him in timeout, but it is possible.
Possible, yeah.
It is possible. All right, guys, while we have a moment, do want to remind you about our partner here on the wrap-up show, our friends over at Aura. If you're looking to get healthier, the new year is here. It's crazy. We're weeks away. They've got plant-based supplements for you. They're San Diego-based. Their co-founder, Will, is such a huge Padres fan, such a big-time supporter of this channel as well. If you're looking to get healthier, there's only one place to turn. It's to our friends at Aura by clicking the link in the description down below or by going to ora.organic. They've got probiotics. They're plant-based. Everything's plant-based. I take their probiotic for digestion, heart health, mental health. They have pre-workout supplements. They have proteins for after workouts. They have omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, take an omega-3 oil. They've got sleep pills, immunity pills, and more. Whatever it is, you can find it at Aura by clicking the link in the description down below, ora.organic. Get healthier for 2024.
Yeah, go there right now, www.ora.organic. Everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. New Year's coming up. New Year's resolutions are coming up. If you want to get healthier, everyone does that for New Year's. So pick up some supplements, protein powder, pre-workout, probiotics. They got all of it. Go there right now, www.ora.organic.
What's the latest?
Nothing. Which is definitely when you start seeing it heat up and you start seeing a bunch of fucking reports, and then it gets quiet.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
This is when now it's like, okay, the next tweet you see will probably be
the deal.
This
isn't
Maybe
Scherzer.
It's not.
This isn't Scherzer, right?
No.
It's not all this anticipation that nothing happens. Which again, I don't even care, because if they keep Juan Soto, I'm like, oh my gosh, they kept Juan Soto. Then we'll just have a whole nother conversation. And by the way, if they get this far down the path of the Yankees, then they're going to move him. I mean, even if it's not to the Yankees. But to go this far down this path for this long means that the Padres are motivated to move Juan Soto.
Yeah, it feels like it's happening.
It does.
It didn't be a shocker.
It'll be a shocker. Cruiser, thank you. He says, John Boy asked on his channel, who's our other outfielders? Well, one of them would be Fernando Tatis Jr., Platinum Glove Award winner. Signed for the next
take your head out of the Yankees asshole real quick and like look at the Padres and understand that Fernando Tatis Jr. is on it and he plays outfield.
Yeah, like I'm not really freaking out about their outfield situation. I mean, we've talked about Grisham for years. They clearly have a big concern about fielding Grisham for the last 4 years. I mean, yeah, they'll have to make moves. I mean, obviously, yes, you have a hole without Juan Soto. Like, surprise. That's true. Not having Juan Soto means you have to fill that spot. That's accurate.
Like I said yesterday, once the dust settles, at this moment in time, I fucking hate it. It sucks. But if you told me, bro, just letting you know, once the dust settles, you're going to get Michael King, Alex Manoah, and Corbin Burns,
right,
to be in your rotation, you'd be like,
I'd be like, Soto who? No, I'm just kidding.
No. You'd be like, okay, I kind of, I don't hate it. I mean, I like it a lot. I mean, I hate that Juan Soto's gone, but, if it meant to really bolster our pitching staff to that level, it makes it like more palatable, right? It just makes it more palatable. This, to me, at this moment in time, and things could obviously be different, and they're going to be different. It better be different. But at this moment in time, this is like people in our chat have said, this is a really tough pill to swallow, man. Really
I agree. I completely agree. And then Cruiser followed up by saying he means who's our fourth and fifth outfiters. I mean, who knows? Because who's your second and third? But I mean,
Jose Azocar.
Yeah, the Azokars of the world is who they are. And they're going to turn to their system. I guarantee you this. Padres opening day roster will have rookies on it, and multiple. So, I mean, that's just a guarantee. Eric Rupner's been saying that. Peter Seidler told that to Kevin Acee in July, the last time he really spoke publicly. Like, they're going to have to involve their system more so than they have. I mean, that was always, they recognized that. They were having to do that. It was never going to be every position was a free agent. We talked about that 3 years ago. It wasn't sustainable. And look at what's happened.
I can't wait for the social media team tweet saying, welcome to San Diego.
Michael King.
Michael King.
And what's the tweet going to say? Like, what? Like king him. Or like,
with the king emoji.
Generic. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. Are they going to even and then when Soto comes back here, they're going to have like a Soto video. The whole thing I hate. They're going to have a lot of videos this year. Videos for Hader, videos for Snell, videos for Soto, videos for Lugo, Waka. Lots of videos. 28 minutes ago, John Heyman, this was 3 minutes before his percolating tweet about Jung-Hoo Lee. Yankees and Padres are working to finalize the Juan Soto deal perhaps today. Jack Curry, yes, on it. The Jack Curry has been all over this thing and apparently has been trusted by Yankee fans, but he hasn't tweeted in 53 minutes.
I know. It's things are happening.
Yeah. I'm with you. Because he was tweeting a ton earlier. No, not a ton, but a good amount. I mean, are people eating lunch right now?
No.
Are there meetings going on that these GMs have to be a part of? It's going to happen at 6:01 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, it's going to be so annoying.
Would be my guess.
it's gonna be annoying.
It really is. Okay, while we have a moment, and we do have a moment, do want to thank our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you're looking for the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports, click that QR code or take a photo of that QR code, get to underdogfantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP. You will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. There's the QR code on the screen right now. Underdogfantasy.com or the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You can draft. Easiest place to draft. Auto draft. Draft yourself. They take care of the rest. No waivers, no trades. They set your lineup for you. There are pick'em, simple higher or lower contests across all sports, whether it's football, basketball, of course, Major League Baseball once we get back into the season. But again, if you're looking for a great place to play fantasy sports, so easy, so simple to win, check them out at underdogfantasy.com. Scan that QR code on the screen, underdogfantasy.com, or the Underdog Fantasy app. Use promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100.
Nothing still. I was for sure thinking that this was going to happen while we were on.
Me too. But it hasn't.
But it hasn't. Pretty much how we feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, other than I'm trying to think, has there been anything over the last 24 hours other than Soto? Just the report that Cronenworth could be dealt from Dennis Lin.
Grisham, Gary Sanchez was another one. They're talking to Gary Sanchez for like $8 to $9 million a year.
Right. Which I guess isn't crazy when you see Victor Caratini gets what, 2 years 12 or 2 years 14.
Right.
Just everything costs money and they don't have any of it. That's why. Yeah, I mean, would you Gary Sanchez on a 1-year deal or would that be multiple years?
Probably multiple. I don't know.
What did Andy Martino tweet?
He tweeted something?
He did. Sounds like a decent chance the Soto to Yankee trade will be done within a few hours. They'd working on details, which isn't a word. They'd working on details. Maybe means they are. They are.
Here's my thing. Is Andy Martino just like sitting next to Brian Cashman?
It's so weird.
I mean, if I'm Brian Cashman, I'm looking around in the room and I'm looking at the people here and I'm like, who the fuck is talking to Andy Martino?
Makes
like,
no
give
sense.
Me all your phones. Give me all
How
your phones.
How about last
right
night?
now.
He was like, hey, they're still working on stuff. And by stuff, I mean they're about to finalize the Juan Soto trade. I'm like, oh, it's pretty interesting way to put it.
Like, that's amazing to me. How
who's your
like
source?
The littlest details. It's someone in the Yankees camp. I mean, it's not the Padres because why would the Padres?
Clearly, but I mean, who is it? Like literally Hal Steinbrenner? How can you be so confident?
I mean, man, whoever is leaking, if I'm Brian Cashman, I'm like, what the fuck?
Or is it Cashman? Is it leverage? Is there reasoning?
Is it agents? You know what? Probably, it's probably agents.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
By the way, Andy Martino wrote 1 hour ago an article, and in that article, he says the Yankees are willing to raise their payroll to more than $300 million for the first time in order to add Juan Soto and Yamamoto, according to a person familiar with Hal Steinbrenner's thinking. Absolutely, one source said. So, I mean, the Yankees are all in on this payroll. They might lead baseball in payroll. I don't know where the Mets are going to be. So they might lead baseball in payroll, and it's been a while since we could say that, I think.
Well, the first domino of like a disastrous offseason is about to fall, and that's trading away Juan Soto to just whatever. Okay. Number 2 would be Shohei Ohtani to the Yankees or the Giants. Now, Dave Roberts,
complete disaster.
Now, Dave Roberts potentially may have fucked that up, but
which would be amazing
if he didn't. Which would be amazing. Yeah, right. It'd be amazing if he did. But if he didn't and he goes to the Dodgers, you're 0 for 2, disastrous offseason for sure. Number 3, Yamamoto goes to like the Giants, like he goes to the Giants. That's 0 for 4 or 0 for 3. And then Blake Snell goes to another team in the National League that is a contender. That's 0 for 4. That's like the worst case scenario possible. Which doesn't feel like it's that, that impossible to see happening.
I mean, so what's the best case then? Like, what's the reasonable best case? I guess because the reasonable thing is Soto's getting traded at this point. I mean, Andy Martino's saying it's happening within hours.
I think, look, the best case is you kept Juan Soto and you figured it out, but we all kind of know that's logically thinking, not thinking with your heart, but thinking with your brain, logically, not something that was feasible. So if you were going to trade Juan Soto, you trade him as far away as possible, which is like probably what they're going to do here. Because when I saw rumors of the Giants, I'm thinking like, dude, if you're a Padres fan,
that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be sitting there as a Padres fan thinking that would be
that's
okay.
Just flat out stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So go to the Yankees and try to gut as much pitching as you possibly can for them. And hopefully it works out. Bentley.
Hey, Bentley. I remember my first time getting a package. It's the holidays.
He doesn't like the deal.
He doesn't like the deal. And I think he's like a lot of dogs in San Diego right now.
Yeah.
Which is hungry.
What was I saying?
You were talking about like best case scenario. Okay, move Soto as far as possible. Don't trade him to the Giants.
Shohei goes to like the Blue Jays.
Right.
Snell goes to like the Mariners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yamamoto goes
to like Japan.
To like, I guess, the Yankees, even though that would still suck because the Yankees got Yamamoto and Soto.
Right.
But the whole goal is like making sure the Giants or the Dodgers, if you're a Padres fan, they don't bolster their team as like with these players that we're talking about.
Right. I mean, I would say,
and you get Jung.
I was going to say, if you could, I would say the best case for the Padres on the other side of this is yes, to not be heavily impacted by moves within your division, but it's not overly realistic. The Giants have money to spend. It's out of your control. The Dodgers have money to spend. It's out of your control. All you can concern yourself with is finding a way to field a competitive roster that can vie for a playoff spot, like whether it's the third wild card or not. But that's what you got to do. And however, in whatever means necessary to do that, and even if it means moving Juan Soto, which at this point appears extremely likely, how do you put yourself in a position where you can field a team that can, I don't know, qualify, win 85 games? I mean, it's not crazy. We're not talking about them having the best team in baseball. Even what Mike Schilt was saying the other day at the press conference, like first order of business is we got to compete in this division. I'm like, yo, slow down, bud. I mean, you can't compete in this division for 10 years and you've thrown everything at it. So why don't you just try to win 85 games? Because this past year, 85 games would have been a postseason spot.
Well, I mean, according to Mike Schilt, they're going for the division.
Good luck, right? Isn't that what you would say to start the year?
Yeah.
I mean, winning the division this year is not going to be easy.
By the way, Mike, buddy, you better get ready to cancel some trips here. Because
that's funny.
You're potentially having like 3 trips here to 4, right? You got Cronenworth next week. You got Soto. He said he was going to meet with Grisham and Carpenter for some fucking reason. I get the Carpenter, but Grisham, like, really? Like, those guys might not even be in this team next year.
Right. Yeah, like, do you get reimbursed? It's a good point. Like, I'm holding off. Who's the last person you're seeing because you're thinking he's going to be moved? Soto. I'm not visiting Soto tomorrow.
No. The first person I'm visiting is easily Manny Machado, which I think he's already done.
He's probably done that.
Which is, I mean, I don't know. And Manny does this, right? I haven't heard anything from Manny about this team this year, this offseason.
I know.
Nothing about
very quiet.
Peter Seidler. I mean, it's just all about his underwear brand. And
No, like, he was at the 3rd grade class yesterday.
No, I know. But like on social media and the bikes things was awesome. It was great. But I don't know, just interesting.
What's the deal with his underwear brand? Does he literally have an underwear brand?
Yeah, he always tweets it out, or he always puts it out on his Instagram page. Like from his like publicist to probably post it or something.
Like, is that a big money thing? You think a guy making $35 million a year wouldn't be pushing underwear, but I don't know. Maybe they pay him a lot of money to do it. Must be a lot of money in underwear.
There is a lot of money in underwear because guess what? Everyone wears it.
Typically wears it, yeah.
And no one. I mean, the look of it's not like a big deal. You could have some crazy colors, doesn't matter.
So like, well said.
You're not going to see it.
Yeah, I did think we talked about this yesterday on John and Jim. That the Dave Roberts thing is interesting only under the premise that Ohtani does not land with the Dodgers. Because if he doesn't sign with the Dodgers, whoever writes about how it all went down, and oh, by the way, they will write, and the articles will be long, the pursuit of Shohei Ohtani and how the Blue Jays landed him, or whomever, Baltimore, New York Yankees. If it's not the Dodgers, did Dave Roberts speaking yesterday, which is explicitly against the wishes of the agent of Ohtani, who said it could harm a team's pursuit of the free agent, could that have changed the course of this offseason and the future for Ohtani? I mean, that would shock me, to be honest, if something like that actually happened. But if I'm Dave Roberts, I did not sleep well last night. I know that.
Oh, no. Like, you may have fucked up.
Right.
When you're under specific instructions from a player and agent to not have anything leak, and the first chance you get to speak, you're telling everybody that they met and everything's great and we love Ohtani, he's the number one priority, blah, blah. Like, ooh, if he doesn't go to the Dodgers, everybody's going to blame Dave Roberts. Even if no one says anything about, even if it's not reported that Dave Roberts was a reason, everybody will blame Dave Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Agree?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just hilarious to me. So they're in a situation, they're under huge pressure right now. Huge pressure. Just like the Yankees are under huge pressure from their fan base. You just openly talked about Shohei Ohtani. You guys didn't do anything last offseason with the thinking that you guys were going to save up to get Shohei this offseason. And one of the specific requests from Ohtani's group and Ohtani, you completely just said fuck it and talked about Ohtani.
It's so ridiculous. It's so simple. You're at a media event.
You just don't say anything.
They should have been like, nobody say anything about Ohtani. They're going to ask you. You're the Dodgers. Just say those conversations we're not privy to discuss or whatever.
Yeah. And here's where
nobody's going to care.
And here's where AJ Preller is a master. He's a master.
Yeah, he would never say anything.
If the Padres were truly in like the Dodgers are on Shohei Ohtani,
you'd never hear it.
You would never hear a thing about Ohtani.
Never.
And that's a definite positive for Preller is
1,000%.
Man, if you have a player out there that the Padres are pursuing, he won't talk about him like ever. Mm-hmm. Even last winter meetings, he was on with Darren and I talked a bunch and they were in on Trey Turner, Aaron Judge, and Xander Bogaerts. And I don't think he said a word about any three of those guys, like to the media.
I think you're right. I do. I mean, that's one of his better qualities. Unfortunately, it's hard as a fan because you want to glean information from your general manager when he speaks, but it's very challenging to do that. And you don't always get like a logical or truthful angle from the general manager. And maybe there's reasons for the way in which he speaks to the media at times, but sometimes it can be frustrating as well. How about this from Darnay Tripp? Okay. Producer of John and Jim, also has a side gig on NBC7. I don't know if that pays him or not. But he said, this is like the logical, this is kind of like me and like the anti-you. The Soto trade can't just be evaluated by what they get back from the Yankees. Have to consider free agent signings with some of the $30 million plus they free up in grading the decision to deal Soto and how it works out long term. Are you willing to wait 3 to 5 years before commenting on Juan Soto if he's traded? Are you willing to, if they trade Juan Soto today, are you willing to have no opinion on the matter and wait 2 years to see how this pans out?
No.
So what do you say when someone says that, which is basically what I've been saying, that you can't evaluate it just based on the return. You got to see what they do the rest of the offseason with the money they free up.
Yeah. Dude, watch me evaluate it right now. I'll evaluate it.
It doesn't even happen and you're evaluating.
By the way, breaking news, John.
Don't do that unless you're serious.
The Padres have selected in the Rule 5 draft.
You're an idiot.
From the Mariners, right-handed pitcher, Steven Kolek. Do you think he starts the team next year? Because I think there's a very good chance that happening.
What's his ring size? Because we're going to have to figure that thing out.
Yeah, I know.
Who? Was this Major League portion? Good talk.
Yeah.
Let's do this Major League portion.
It is.
5 draft?
in the major league phase of the 2023
Okay,
Rule
so he
5
would have to
draft.
stick. So he'd have to stick.
The
So
Padres,
yeah, he's 26.
Rule 5 players.
He's 26. Last year in the Texas League, he had a 0 in 5 outings, 0.00. In AAA Tacoma, he had a 4.96 in 61 and 2/3 innings. He is 26 years of age, from Houston, former 11th round pick of the Dodgers in 2018 out of Texas A&M. Missing piece type stuff?
So let me get this straight. Because they picked him in the first round, he has to be on the opening day roster next year?
Correct, or returned. He had not just on the opening day roster, he has to stick all year. If at any point they try to take him off the 26-man roster, he has to be offered up to be returned. The team doesn't have to take him back. If they don't, you can elect to keep him. So, I mean, he has to stick. So, I guess they're looking at it as maybe a bullpen project. I mean, you see Major League portion Rule 5 picks all the time that don't pan out. It's no big deal. I think it costs $50K, something like that. So, you put him in spring training. If he has a nice spring, if you think you can put him on your big league roster, you put him there. If not, you try to return him. Wasn't there a year, I think 2017, they had 3 Rule 5 players on their major league roster, which is unheard of. One is not unheard of at all. So we'll see if Kolek is able to stick or not. Maybe that's were they waiting on that before dealing Juan Soto to see if they get Stephen Kolek, or however you say it? You can't deal with it?
I mean,
dude, this guy was good in Great Lakes in 2018 in the Midwest League.
I mean, we're back to this shit again.
Yeah, we're talking about who were some of the Rule 5 guys in 2017?
Dude,
that didn't pan out.
If you named them, I would who was it?
Oh, you're gonna know them.
If you said it, I would know it. I would know it because I was there during that time.
Yeah, no, I know you. I have no clue.
Perdomo, Torrens.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Luis Torrens. Who else? There was another. It was like
Miguel Diaz?
Miguel Diaz, yeah. He was okay.
Alan Cordoba?
Yes, Alan Cordoba. That's the name I'm thinking of.
They kept 3, dude. They picked 3 players in the major league portion of the Rule 5 draft. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what the team was that year.
But here, the whole point of doing something like this, well, diamond in the rough stuff, but also, now you've got a guy that could be on your opening day roster that is major league minimum. A bit of a project.
Gus makes a good point. How many Rule 5 guys are on contending teams?
Contending teams sometimes would have as many as 1. There have been examples of good teams with 1 Rule 5 player.
How many Rule 5
I don't know who else has been drafted.
Last year?
Has anyone else been drafted in the Rule 5 draft? That'll give you a feel. Let's see live. I mean, are there any teams that are playoff caliber teams that have selected in the major league portion? That's all you need to know. Major league phase. So far, the teams that have selected are all
shit.
Yeah, I mean, the A's, Royals, Rockies all had the first picks. White Sox, Nationals. It's going in reverse order, right? Mets took someone. Guardians took someone. And now the Padres have taken someone. We'll see if anyone selects after the Padres, who are 15th in the draft. This is, this is the major league phase. Then there's the minor league phase. Let's see. Here's how it works. Clubs pay $100,000 to select a player. That means the Padres have $100,000, by the way. But if that player does not stay on the active roster all season, he must be offered back to his former team for $50,000. So that's how it works. So he has to stick on the major league roster all year. Should we do a Rule 5 draft channel where we just talk about candidates to be selected on this one day and then break it down? I'm looking for another channel idea.
The Padres are so back. Rule 5 draft player talk.
Gosh darn it. Is the Rule 5 draft holding up this Juan Soto trade?
I hope not.
This is so dumb.
This is so stupid.
Oh, hold on. Will Holder has tweeted.
Okay.
He has quote tweeted Ryan Dempster, the former player.
He's like a coach.
Yeah, whatever. Just heard from an anonymous source that there is a secret team interested in Ohtani. Not sure yet if it's an American League team or a National League team. But rumor has it, it is a team Okay, I think that's a joke. Anyway, Padres aren't in on it, Tony. But I figured it was better conversation than talking about the Rule 5 draft.
Anything's better conversation than talking about the Rule 5 draft. All right, I gotta go.
So that's how it ends. All right, Jim's out.
That's how it ends. I gotta go to.
That's how it ends.
I gotta go on neck cracked.
Must be nice.
It is nice.
Okay. Join us at 3 p.m. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll hope to connect with Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, at some point over the course of the afternoon on San Diego Sports 760. Find us, by the way, on YouTube. Search for John and Jim 760. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. We've got content for you all year long, in season, out of season. If you're a Padres fan, if you're a baseball fan, please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Also, a reminder, if you're here on replay, thank you for those super thanks. We really do appreciate your support of the channel. Please support our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you have any insurance need, he can save you money before you renew. Call Mark. Click the link in the description down below. Aura, if you're looking to get healthier with the new year here, ORA.organic. They've got plant-based supplements, including probiotics and more for you, ORA.organic. And again, get a 100% deposit match at UnderdogFantasy.com by using promo code PODSWRAP. That is PADSWRAP, UnderdogFantasy.com. No, Jim, you can't talk. You got to go. Unless it's Juan Soto trade.
Your favorite reporter, Boob Nightingale, tweeted.
Is it Boob or Bob? Is this the real one or the fake one?
No, it's the real Boob.
Okay.
Optimism, the trade will now be completed this afternoon.
Maybe at 3 o'clock Pacific.
Perfect.
Well, I'm going to go. Here's the thing, real quick before we go. I'm going to Orange Theory at noon. In Orange Theory classes, you cannot bring your phone. Now, I can check my phone roughly once per class at the midway point. Let's say 12:30. Is this deal going to be completed between 12 and 1 Pacific? I say yes, to be honest. And what time are you, like, how long does your neck cracking take? And are you on your phone as they crack your neck?
It's like 15 minutes. But there's like a 15-minute window where I will not be on my phone.
What if, like, the second that window opens, he gets traded?
Okay.
Well, then again, you sleep through everything. You're normally asleep, and they make all the trades. When I've been texting you in the morning, I text you in the morning, you text me right back. I'm like, wait, why are you awake?
I have not slept at all. I've woken up every morning at like 7 a.m.
Welcome to adulthood. Seriously.
Just because, like, I'm paranoid. I'm like, fuck, dude. And I see texts from you, so I immediately think,
you're thinking he got traded. I know. I'm going to keep doing it just to annoy you.
No joke. Yesterday morning, I got added to a group chat for like a fantasy football league that I'm in, and I looked at my phone and I had 14 text messages, and like you were like the first one on top of it,
and you're like, oh my god.
And it was like three messages from you, and I was
like, what was it? Does it have to do with Danny O'Neill?
No, it had to do with like paying fees or whatever. But on initial first glance, and I also had 3 emails, and I couldn't see like what the emails were about. So I'm like, fuck, they probably sent out a press release.
Yeah.
And he got traded, and I was like, oh my god, but it was like stupid shit.
Hold on, we're not going anywhere yet.
Like Danny O'Neill's great.
Yeah, we're talking like San Diego State, like recruiting visits this weekend. There's a couple things that we're going to get to all the supers, by the way. If you want to get a super in, we still have a couple of minutes. Carlos, thank you. Loyal viewer, supporter, friend of the wrap-up show. So thank you, Carlos. We'll get you a second. A couple things on Stephen Kolek, because everyone's here for Stephen Kolek, obviously. Full-time reliever in the PCL last year. Overall had a 3.76 and 69 in the third innings. And then this from Kevin Charity, Mad Friars. Elite ground ball rate in AAA, Jim.
Stop.
57.5%. Okay.
I have better news.
Okay.
From Randy Miller, who is the New York Yankees beat writer for NewJersey.com.
Yeah, NJ.com, yeah.
NJ.com. Newark Star Ledger.
Yeah.
This is a real account. Tweet it out.
Okay. Okay.
2 things.
I'm listening.
I just got confirmation that Juan Soto indeed is in Miami, waiting for a trade to the Yankees to be done. Soto has homes in South Florida. I just got more info that Juan Soto's father, or I just got more info from Juan Soto's father.
Mm-hmm.
He said in a phone call a few minutes ago that Juan is super happy that he's going to be traded to the Yankees.
Wow. Wow. This is Randy Miller?
Padres have selected another player in the Rule 5 draft. The
Not
Triple
Major
A,
League Port. Oh, that's
Triple A
different.
phase.
That's normal.
Another shortstop, Clay Dungan.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Better.
Clay Dungan?
Yeah.
What's his name? Okay, this is interesting, the Randy Miller stuff. Let's get to Carlos's supers that are coming in. Carlos, you're the man. He says, I'm ready to get hurt again. The Padres World Series all or nothing window has officially closed. Time to be miserable Padres fans again. FML will be one of the worst trades in Major League Baseball history. Ozzie Smith 2.0. I mean, there's a fear of that. And the one thing I would say to Carlos's point is you might say, well, we're only losing out on Soto for a year, and that's kind of fair. But the Yankees are going to keep Juan Soto for a decade. And you're going to see him in pinstripes for the next decade throughout his 20s and 30s. And yeah, you weren't going to have him beyond 2024, but it feels like you're trading Juan Soto for the rest of his career because he's not coming back. He's going to be with the Yankees for the next 10 years. I don't see a circumstance where the Yankees aren't keeping him.
I don't either, especially the allure of New York, East Coast, closer to his family.
That's right.
The money he's going to make there, the endorsements, playing with Aaron Judge.
It's crazy. I mean, the endorsements, I hadn't even really fully thought about that, but the way you're the face of an organization in New York, I mean, New York's it's just different. I mean, it has good, it has bad.
I would put the percentage chances of him signing a long-term deal with the Yankees like at 75%.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very high. I think it may not happen immediately, but it will happen would be my guess. Carlos says, I don't care if we need pitching. Talent like Soto's doesn't come up every year, and this will be a heartbreaking decision by a franchise marred by Peter Seidler's emotional decisions with extensions. That's maybe for another day. But we have discussed that, obviously, including Manny Machado's extension this past February or March at the beginning of spring training. I think that's a fair conversation to have, and the impact it's had on something like keeping Juan Soto. And then Carlos goes on to say, people are quick to blame Preller, a lot to criticize, but at the end of the day, the owner has final word, and Machado, Crone extensions are on Seidler. Great legacy. His accountant is giving him CEO SMH. I don't remember the circumstances behind the Cronenworth extension, to be honest with you. But
if that was a contract for a moment, then that's just horrible.
Right.
But the Machado thing was definitely close to all Peter Seidler. And I didn't have a problem with them re-signing Manny because the alternative was no Manny. But the problem is Manny's, had a really bad year last year, and he's always hurt, and he's not getting younger. Jim Fax. And if he's going to have years like last year, for the next 5 years, like sprinkled in, and he's also going to be to me, a problem in that clubhouse as the leader of the team. And the second I heard him say that culture didn't matter, I was like, yeah, I just like, nope, nope, doesn't do it for me. Sorry. So put up great seasons. That'll be great. Right. But if you're not, and then you're also combating that with, culture doesn't mean anything to me. And we have 26 leaders in here, and who cares? Like, sorry, that I'm out.
Right. Can we do one last social media scrub?
Yeah. Hold on. Because I got to take a shower and get out of here. But
so do I, kind of.
All right. Here we go.
It's got to be something in the last 120 seconds.
Here we go. Nothing. I got nothing.
All right. 90 minutes on that. Well, I know this. We'll be back with you from 3 to 6. If Soto gets moved, we'll probably be back with you tonight, Jim. That's right. We're going to try to do it. But
I can't even speak.
Jim, well, that's not atypical. This is funny from Alex. Is Jim going to ruin the King and Thorpe press conference? Who are these guys? You know what I mean?
Dude, they're not going to have a press conference for Michael King and Drew Thorpe, are they?
I don't know. I don't. Are you going to bring up all 7 of these prospects? You're going to bring up 7 players to the podium with AJ Preller at Petco Park next week? I have no idea. All right, guys. Do appreciate it. Again, please subscribe if you're here. Back with you 3. Find us, San Diego Sports 760, iHeartRadio app, YouTube. Search for John and Jim 760. Hold on. Thank you, Carlos. Carlos, you're the man. Appreciate your support of the channel. Seriously. I love how Carlos is keeping us here. This is great. If you just keep us here, Carlos. He says nobody's criticizing Machado. It's the emotional decisions of extending Crone for a clutch hit. Xander overpaying Machado is an overpay, but whatever. Juan Soto is leaving because money was wrongly allocated and can't pay him. I mean, I do think that's probably accurate, but I wonder this, Jim. If they didn't extend Machado, maybe he was a free agent right now. If they were better with their money, let's say they had the money, would they count on Juan Soto staying? Would they then see it out? Would they wait for him to hit free agency and make a viable offer? Would they be able to keep him from teams like the New York Yankees, even if it got to free agency? I think it's hard to know if they could have kept him, even if they had the resources to keep him.
And you said it, I think, last week. It was a good point.
Oh, thank you.
They ran a huge risk. Would I have taken that risk? I don't know. But the risk was, as soon as they traded for Juan Soto, to have all of their resources and devotion and time spent to making sure to keep Juan Soto long term, without really knowing for sure if Juan Soto is going to return, going to sign here. Mm-hmm. So then you wouldn't sign Manny to a long term contract. I don't even know if you would sign Darvish to a long term contract. You might sign Xander to a long term contract because then you could pair Xander and Soto and Tatis long term for less money. Right. But there would be a very good chance of, at the end of this whole thing, you don't have Machado and you don't have Soto. And
yeah, that's the problem. You had to have, the equation had to be this: Soto plus Tatis. That's what you had to have at the end of this. You didn't have to have Manny. You didn't have to have Bogarts. We could parse through that. But you had to have Soto and Tatis, because then you have your mid-20s guys locked up. So if you couldn't have all four, if there was a combination I wanted Soto and Tatis. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that.
No.
You're going to get three of them, but you're not getting the right two of them, in my opinion.
Correct.
Right? Like, you had to have Soto. Tatis to me just makes more sense, just based on age, than Manny and Xander.
Correct. The in a dream world, and I'm sure they talked about it and thought about it. I bet you Preller's dream was to build around Soto and Tatis for sure, 100%. Like, no, there's no doubt in my mind that there were thoughts and discussions about, all right, how can we make sure we build around these two guys? And knowing that it would probably be difficult, that's where Xander Bogaerts comes into play. And then that's where re-signing Manny Machado comes into play. And then it was like, we didn't win. Now what the fuck do we do?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. It's funny. Jim's trying to go get his, like,
Carlos, we have to leave, buddy.
Chiropractor. I got Orange Theory. I got a few minutes. So if you want to get supers in, by the way, we're getting close to 5,500 subscribers because of you guys. We probably gained 15 or 20 subscribers today. We're within like 25. If you're here right now, live or on replay, please subscribe. That's all we ask of you. We've got content for you. We're following this Juan Soto trade like everyone is. So please subscribe if you're here. Carlos says, so screw it. If you already have Soto, ride the season with him and see if you can make a push. No Michael King, Thorpe will make this season any better. This is pathetic. I understand the fandom in that. That's what Jim has been saying. You're probably right. Is Michael King your difference maker to get you over the hump this year?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Is
Thorpe in the next 1 or 2 years a difference maker for you? Probably not. So yeah, if you're just saying, hey, what's better for 2024? I get it. Who wants to trade Juan Soto when you have him?
Yeah.
No
Why
one.
not make a push? Like, who cares about 2025? Like, as from a fan's perspective.
Right.
You know, from a fan perspective. Like, yes, Preller and all of them have to worry about the future for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But from a fan perspective, you're like, who gives a fuck about 2025? I want to win now. And does Juan Soto help you do that potentially? Absolutely. Like, oh, yeah, he didn't win last year. Okay, but they made the NLCS with them in 2022. Right.
Yeah,
so,
no, exactly. And it's not his fault they didn't win. It's not his fault they didn't win. I mean, he's not the reason why it was a complete and utter disaster.
162 games.
Right.
And he was the best player on the team.
He was very good. Snow. He was very good. Could he have come through in bigger spots? Yeah, there's no question. Everyone could have come through more than they did. Everyone.
And at the end of the day, we'll end it here. This team heading into 2024, will be without their best pitcher from this past season and their best hitter. two of their best players.
And arguably more than just their best pitcher, because even some of these guys like the Wakas and the Lugos outpitch the Darvishes and the Musgroves.
You're without the best pitcher in baseball and one of the best hitters in baseball from last year.
But you got Michael King.
We got Michael King and Drew Thorpe. So, yay.
But, and last point, and I agree with Denny third, it's more than just getting King and Thorpe. It's what do you do with the money if you do something with the money, and do you spend it wisely? And we all agree on that. All right, I'm doing a final refresh. And my refresh is this from Matt Friars. The Padres just selected lefty Omar Cruz, who they traded to the Pirates as part of the Joe Musgrove deal. Time is a flat circle. Do you have anything else? Oh, hold on. Fireside Yankees. You see this?
Yeah, whatever.
Yankees are likely to give up King, Thorpe, Vasquez, Brito, Kyle Higashioka. How do you say it? Higashioka?
Higashioka Kaka?
Who is that again?
I don't know.
In a deal for Juan Soto per Jack Curry on Hot Stove.
Dude, Kyle Higashioka Koka.
How do you say his name? Who is that?
I don't know.
I feel like we should know that name. Oh, he's a catcher. Okay. They could use a catcher. Perfect. That's perfect. All right. I can't go, man.
All right,
we have
peace
to.
out, bye.
Oh,
Peace
he's
out,
hitting
bye.
end stream. Peace. See you at 3 p.m.